Hi, my beautiful soul tribe. Welcome back to New Vision Tarot. I'm Nelly. Okay, so like I promised, I am going to be doing a pick a pile for who are you in one of your past lives and what karmas do we have to work out that you bring into this lifetime and do we have to work through, and what gifts that we also bring into this lifetime that could aid you in this incarnation. This is actually one of the readings that the type of readings that I offer, and it's I think my most popular one. Though this is one of the ones that that I get the most requests for. So I thought it'd be cool to do a pick a pile for a past life reading. Obviously, this reading is general, so it cannot and will not resonate with everyone. But I'm sure there are going to be some. I guarantee there'll be some messages in here that will resonate, no doubt. But if you do want an in-depth past life reading from yours truly, leave a message. My email is down below. Simply send me a message and we'll get you booked in for private reading. This is one of the more popular readings that that people book from me. People really enjoy them, and I enjoy doing them too. This is going to be a more simplified version of the ones that I do. Those of you that have gotten past life readings from me know that I do a very in-depth past life reading, but this is a little bit more of a general, just to give you a little taste, just like a four card reading. Okay, so I want you guys to practice using your intuition. Oh, quick disclaimer, I blur out shits and fucks because I'm an adult and I can. That's just how I express myself. I hope you take no offense to it. I mean no offense by it. It's if you're able to see past my potty language, you will see that I have many messages from the divine for you, my dear soul tribe. So please stay, and please give that like button a high five for me. It helps my channel. Okay, so I want you guys to use your intuition. Close your eyes and set the intention that you want to figure out or find out what is your most influential past life and what gifts did you bring in with you, and what lessons or karmic debts do you have to pay in this lifetime. Capiche? Okay, so for pile number one, let's see, we start down here. I'm gonna make this one pile number one. Pile number one, we got my dog Anubis. If you're drawn to Anubis, pick pile number one. For pile number two, I got this badass little dragon figurine. If you're drawn to him, pick pile number two. For pile number three, I got this super cute little angel. How adorable is she? If you're drawn to her, pick pile number three. For pile number four, I got this bicycle. This what is it? Wired hand wire bicycle, handcrafted by yours truly. So if you're drawn to it, pick pile number four. And then for pile number five, I got this vintage skeleton key, which is absolutely cool and awesome. And if you're drawn to it, very symbolic. If you're drawn to it, pick pile number five. And then last but not least, pile number six, I got a needle and a thread in the color of royal blue. Needle and thread, also very symbolic. If you are drawn to it, pick pile number six. Give you a little time to decide and use your intuition. If you have your pendulums, you can ask your pendulum which pile you need to pick. Obviously, we have all lived more than one life. So if you're guided to pick more than one pile, don't bother me. Pick as many piles as you want. But for the sake of the lessons that you can take from this, I just recommend it would be best if you only pick one. But it doesn't matter. You can pick more than one. I probably would. So I'll give you a little time to go ahead and pick. These are all little like random shits that I have like around my house too. Like random knickknacks that I thought would be like, I'm like, I'll take this, I'll take that. These are all just like random like hootsits and whatsits galore. Okay, so if you want to be, again, if you want to enter into the monthly giveaway, I am giving away this dope ass deck, the Wonderland deck. This was my second deck ever bought. I've hardly used it. It's at Alice in Wonderland. deck I'm going to sign, and I'm going to give it away. So give this video a like, leave a comment down below that you want to be entered, and you're in. The drawing's on the 30th of November, so good luck. Let's see, those of you that have sent donations to the channel, thank you all very much. You guys are my heroes. May the universe pay you back sevenfold. That's how it works. You get what you put out, baby. Yes, you do. Then last but not least, I think that's it. I mean, I think that was enough time, I hope. I do have my my deck here of the Rider-Waite deck just in case I need to clarify, but I'm going to try to just, you know, use the past life cards to do the reading. So hopefully that was enough time for you guys to pick. I'm gonna have this time stamped so that you can, if you know that those of you that are watching, you can just go straight to the pile that you picked. Okay, it might take me a minute to timestamp it, but I will have it timestamped. So we're gonna start with Anubis pile numero uno, number one. Okay. Take my little bicycle, put this in the side. All right, guys. Okay, pile number one. If you picked Anubis, let's see. We'll have Anubis overlooking over here. We got forgiveness. Already, it's gonna be a powerful one. We got imprisonment and slavery. Wow. Okay. We got finances. Okay, okay. And we got, ooh, Egypt. Yes, I love Egypt. I love Egypt. Oh, it actually makes sense because look, Anubis. I swear to God, this is a coincidence, guys. I didn't even look, I haven't seen the cards. Thanks, Anubis. Okay. Let me take a quick look at this, guys, before I start blathering. You know, let me take this in. Okay, so Egypt, finances, slavery, forgiveness. Okay. I'm seeing this. So you obviously the most impacting life that you've had. The one, I mean, all lifetimes are impacting, but there's a particular life that you spent in Egypt that particularly influences you in this lifetime, pile number one, or Anubis pile, and it has to do with what you did for a living. Okay. And I'm gonna make a quick disclaimer that I should have. I'm gonna take this off because it's getting stuck on the it's getting stuck on my thing, so I'm taking this off. I'm gonna make a quick disclaimer, guys. When we access the Akashic records being the book of life, I'm gonna give you information from a past life that there is a reason that we do not remember our past lives, and that's because, and I've been asked that question a lot of times before, like, oh, how if reincarnation was true, how come we don't remember our past life? And there's a reason for it. Imagine, just think about how much time we spend, reminiscing in the past in just this one lifetime, right? Just this one itty bitty incarnation that we have here right now, right? Think about how much time we spend stuck in our past. It's a lot, right? How many of us have had PTSD, right? Because of a past experience that kind of petrified us and stops us from moving forward out of fear. Imagine now if you could remember every single lifetime you've ever had. There's no way you would move forward. And the purpose of the game of life, right? The purpose of us reincarnating here is to live, to move forward, to experience life, to accumulate experiences, and those experiences get uploaded, right? Like in a computer, we come, and that's what our soul is. Our soul is a collection of our experiences and memories that we upload into this hard drive. I'm giving you like references of that we can all like understand it in like in like technical ways, right? So we upload it into like this bigger mind, the big one, the one mind that we are all part of, right? We are all fragments of. We are kind of like neurotransmitters, right? We're kind of like what is it, like we transmit that information to the one mind, which is what we all are. We all are part of the one and the same part of that. So we come to this matrix to collect memories and experiences to broaden our consciousness, right? To experience situations from all perspectives, right? And because we are basically the universe experiencing itself in the material to see from different perspectives, right? So the point I'm trying to make here, you guys, is that when I'm going to give you this information right now, it's important that you guys do not judge yourselves from like a past life, because there is a reason we don't remember past lives. If we were to remember that we might have been a rapist in a past life, or a murderer, or a crook, we wouldn't forgive ourselves. We wouldn't want to even move forward. We would be stuck in our minds about like stuck, without it being able to want to live, because it's, let me tell you, we've probably been all those things in the past life. Maybe even a pedophile. We've also been the child that's been abused. We've also been the one that's gotten murdered. We've experienced every pole of an energetic, experience. So that was a quick disclaimer. If you guys think that you could be triggered by any of this information that I'm going to give, because this isn't going to be a little, this isn't that bad, but it could make a lot of you guys be like, I didn't do that in a past life. I would never do that. Yes, you did. Yes, we all did. So with that said, if you want to continue, here we go. You had a prominent lifetime as an Egyptian, where when you were born, you were not born into nobility, okay? You were not born into a family that had a lot of means. You were born into a family that struggled with their finances, but you always wanted to be financially good, and you always looked up to nobility, and always desired to have more. You saw your mom and your dad struggle to make ends meet, and it always, you felt a lot of compassion for your parents, especially for your mom. And growing up, you had made yourself a promise that you would come up financially, that you would be rich. And that was a promise that was very important to you. This could in turn has given you some like in this lifetime, being financially stable is very important to you. Finances has been a priority to you in this lifetime, or you've had a lot of trouble getting your finances in order. Like you may have you're like, damn, I work so hard, how come I can't get my money straight? Or you've been very focused. You could go to either end of that energetic pole. It could either go to the negative end, or to the positive end. So depending on where you're at, you can either be overly focused on your finances, where you wanna, where money is your priority, and having that stability, that financial stability is your priority. Or you might struggle this whole lifetime. You've been struggling to get your finances straight, and no matter how hard you work, it's really hard for you to to get your money to be able to save up. Like you might not even, you've maybe always wanted to buy a house and you haven't been able to do that, or you've always wanted a nice things, and no matter how hard you work, you can't seem to get your money good, right? But okay, I'm seeing more information here. Okay, so that's something that this is a karma that you might have struggle with in this lifetime, your finances. Coming from a lifetime in Egypt, you might have feel a great affinity to Egypt. Like you might be very interested in Egyptian cosmology, might be really drawn to the Egyptian culture. Like you might, like I am too. Look, like I have comedic tattoos. Like I know for sure like that I've had lifetimes in Egypt, like maybe a couple. Like you like to watch a lot of documentaries about the like pyramids and the Sphinx, and maybe you like looking at hieroglyphics a lot. Like you might stare at hieroglyphics and like find yourself like really fascinated by it. You might like a lot of like, you might like to look into like the mythology about the gods and goddesses, like maybe Nu and Amun, and maybe you like to go see like exhibitions of like Tutankhamun, stuff like that. Like Egypt, you've always been drawn to Egypt, right? Because that's one of the most prominent lifetimes for you. Now I'm gonna get to the nitty gritty down here, okay, guys? See, look, Empress in the reverse. You were always fascinated by the elite in Egypt. You were always fascinated by the abundance and the glamour of the pharaohs and people that lived in court and served the pharaoh. So you always had this promise that you had made to yourself, but you didn't have it because it came out in the reverse. You didn't have this, and you always made that promise to yourself that you would become that empress, or you would build yourself to be an empress and have everything that an empress has. Okay, and this is what, oh, look, I'll show you what we got going on here. You were a guard, okay? You were a guard in this lifetime, okay? You were a guard and you were a slaver. Okay, so this is where I'm starting to get to that part where it might be a little bit hard. You were a slaver, and this was a high-paying job. Okay, this was a job in Egypt. You used to whip the slaves so that they would, you know, to create the buildings, to create. I mean, back then, slaves were paid. You know, like they were paid, and you worked yourself up to being a slaver. But you used to be, you know, you had to whip people. You had to, sometimes to death. Okay, and having that was a job that you had to do because you wanted to live a good life. You wanted to provide for your family, and we have to think about. But you didn't like it though. You didn't like whipping people to death. You didn't like torturing people and you know, and mistreating them, because that was part of the job. Part of the job was to instill fear in them, to keep them working, and you were trained to motivate by instilling pain and suffering. Okay, you were one of the guards, and you were one of the you know, you had different positions. So sometimes you guarded the actual cells. Sometimes you were out in the field whipping. It was a very it was a very abusive career that you were in, okay? And you took it very serious. You were protecting your job, okay? Because you wanted to be, you know, because you wanted to create your abundance. So to you, it was just that was just your job, right? And you had to beat sometimes people to death. Okay, this left you, the imprisonment and slavery, this created a big block for you in this lifetime, pile number one, where you might have created some phobias, with maybe claustrophobia, like where you don't want to stay in relationships for too long because you feel like you're imprisoning, but it's like out of empathy to the other person, because you feel like you might be a little controlling, right? Because of the lifestyle that you had in this lifetime in Egypt, where you were always above the other person, right? So you might have created some control issues in this lifetime that you need to work through. Where you always feel like you want to keep everybody like tied to you, right? Either that, or you might again, like, these are hard topics that I have to put through. You might even become like, if you're not at that pole where you want to keep people trapped with you because of like because you feel like entitled. Like it's just on a very subconscious level, okay? You might be at the opposite pole where you want them to keep you trapped, where you like have like some type of Stockholm syndrome, where you, because you feel so guilty of what you did in this lifetime, you want them to make you prisoner. Or you might have so this creates problems in your relationships where you can't forgive yourself. You might be even very empathetic towards people that are abusive towards you, because you feel like you need to be punished for what you did in this lifetime, for being a slaver. Or you have like this a subconscious need to punish others, because it's something that you were very, that was your problem, that was your job in this lifetime, because you and finances is, you know, you don't want to be poor, okay? So this is a very strong a mental block that you may have, I think, for the most part, because you were at one pole, one energetic pole, being like an abusive, you know, you had a job where you had to abuse people. I think in this lifetime it's made you go to the opposite pole, where you are very empathetic and very lenient towards people that are abusive towards you. Maybe not your whole life, but you have maybe indulged in relationships that might be emotionally abusing. You might have even been in a where you in a relationship where you put in all the work and nobody puts in any other work too. You might have been subconsciously allowing yourself to be part of relationships where you felt trapped. But it's like a self-imposed prison, right? Where, you know, like you might have been in a relationship with someone that was very controlling towards you, and you allowed the person to be controlling towards you because of the guilt that you felt for being controlling and trapping others in this lifetime in Egypt. And this is the beautiful thing about this pile, that I cannot believe that it even came out, because it's so perfect. This is your lesson, your karmic lesson, forgiveness. How beautiful is that? To forgive yourselves for having for murdering people as part of your job, or for whipping people into submission, because you did what you had to do to survive. Okay? You wanted to provide your parents, especially your mother, because the Empress. And I mean, I was telling you these things before the Empress even came out. Remember, I was saying that since the beginning, because I can do this intuitively. That's why I asked you, give me a second to take this in, because the story starts coming into me. Because I'm accessing the Akashic records for you. But I got this just as a little confirmation, and it all came out. See, like a blocking, a guard. You're blocking, you know. This is the fighter card, the abusing, the controlling card, death. Why was I saying that you used to even murder with people to death? So these were just little confirmations, but this was the one that came out on the center. You wanted to take care of your mom, especially your mom. The Empress is a mom, is the mother figure. You wanted to give your mom like the life of luxury, that she never had. And you growing up were like, I don't care what I have to do, I'm going to take care of my mother, and I'm going to be rich. And you achieved it. This job, being a slaver in ancient Egypt, was a magnificently well paid job. Okay, that was a prestigious job, but it was also very violent, and it required you to do a lot of cruel things to others, to treat others like they were not people. Okay? And that weight, you didn't like doing that. You never did. And you always felt you carried a lot of guilt from that lifetime. And your karma in this lifetime is to forgive yourself for doing what you had to do to provide, because none of this is real, you guys. This is all a game that we are playing in the Maya. But you did it for your finances, and maybe these are your two karmas, guys. Your finances in this lifetime, right? But you also brought in empathy into this lifetime because of that cruelty that you imposed upon others. You brought with you your ability to forgive others that are abusive towards you. That's mighty. and to understand them too. So, you know, like, this is how you're going to forgive. This is how you're going to get past this phobia, you know, like I said, some of you guys might have developed a level of Stockholm syndrome, where you fall in love with your prisoner, where you are empathetic towards people that are abusive because you feel that guilt. It's time to forgive that, okay? It's time to release that. Meditate, set the intention that you no longer, right, that you forgive yourself for what you had to do. You were trying to provide for your family, and you did what you needed to do. And that you also forgive yourself for allowing others to abuse you in this lifetime. You forgive your abuser, and so on. And when I say abuse, it could go anywhere from actual physical abuse, to mental abuse, to emotional abuse. For some of you, a combination of the three. You know your story best. Be gentle with yourselves. Be compassionate with yourselves. Forgive. And forgive your relationship with money. Okay? Okay? I hope that resonated. That's what I got for you. Pile number 1. If you want an in-depth past life reading with me, my email is down below. Go ahead and send me an email, and we'll do an in-depth past life reading for you, my loves. Hit that like button for me, please. Thank you very much. We're gonna move on now to pile numero 2. Well, which one was number 2? I think it was the dragon. I think, right? If you guys, well, I'm not sure if this was number 2. I think it is. So if you pick the little dragon figurine, this cool little dragon, let's take a look at what your past life was like, and your influences, what gifts you brought in, what karma do you need to clear, all that jazz. All right, numero 2. Let's see. I'm excited to see what we got here. Ooh, starting hard. We got wisdom. Beautiful. Now look, it's a unicorn. Some of you guys might have some type of affinity towards unicorns. I do. We got, hi, I love it, Atlantis. Yes, Atlantis. Cool. Oh, High Priestess. Damn, this is a cool pile. And then last but not least, we got authority figures. All right, okay. Give me a second to take this in and get the story. Okay, Atlantis, High Priestess. Okay, authority figures. Okay, High Priestess, authority figures. Okay, so you were obviously, anytime that the High Priestess comes out in a past life spread, you're a person that is probably already aware that you were in a past life or many past lives a High Priestess. Because anybody that gets this card has a level of awareness or a level of consciousness that they are a High Priestess, and that they are highly, highly knowledgeable and highly wise. When you're a High Priestess, this is represented by Isis, right? By our yin energy, by Nuit, the primordial goddess, the primordial the primordial goddess of chaos, where it's just potential, right? Potential for the black wound, potential for something to be. And that is what our yin energy is. Everything that's hidden behind the veil, everything that is intuitive, right? Our intuitive side. Do you feel the people that have this High Priestess card, you guys probably intuitively know things about people that you don't know exactly how you know them. Like, for example, or like you can make predictions towards the future, like, oh, this and this and this is gonna happen, but you're like, damn, why did I say that? I don't really have any proof that that's true, or like, why would I mean, and then maybe or like maybe even you might say, oh yeah, in the past civilization of, I don't know, so and so, this is how people used to be, and this is how people used to act, and or like dinosaurs and people live together. You might make like wild predictions like that, where you're like, they just blur out of you, and you're like, damn, why did I say that? I don't really know that that's true, and I said it, and you say it with confidence too. And then maybe like 6 months later, a year later, or years later, something happens. You see a TV show, or you read an article or something that confirms that either that thought that you had, or that prediction that you made, like verbally, like it'll confirm it, like, oh yeah, some scientists went and they did some studies and it turns out that whatever claim you made was actually true, and you're like, oh my god, it turns out that I was right. That's because you have inner gnosis, right? That's called gnosis. That's called inner knowing, because of your high priestess level of intuition, and your high priestess level of, because you're a magi, you're a mage. You know, you've been a mage in many lifetimes, so you've accumulated a lot of secret knowledge that's been passed on to you, and you get downloads from your higher self into this lifetime that gives you access to information that you wouldn't normally have. High priestess, you're a very intuitive person. This is showing up to you today to tell you, not that you were a high priestess, because you probably already know you are. Is to showing up for you to tell you that don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your intuition, because it's on point. If you think maybe I'm a high priestess, but you have self-doubts about your abilities, maybe you're a psychic medium and you don't trust that your intuition, that you really are what you think you are. This is showing up to you to tell you that you are, and to trust your abilities, to trust your inner knowing, your inner gnosis, because it's on point. It's really cool. And your most prominent lifetime was a lifetime in Atlantis. I love it. Okay, so you might be one of those people who is obsessed with stories about Atlantis. You might have you might love dolphins or creatures from the sea. You might really like to go to aquariums a lot. Like you like to, like maybe you have, like you might like having fish tanks at home that like you really like to like stare at. You might either that, or you might be at the polar opposite energy of that energetic cord, and have phobias of the ocean. Like you might have, like you might be you might like the ocean, but you might look at it and you might have you might be afraid to swim in it. You might be afraid of what's underneath. Like you are really afraid of like tidal waves. Like, let me give you an example. I know that I'm an Atlantean too. I am like this. I kind of resonate with this pile, because I am obsessed with Atlantis. I know I'm an Atlantean. I've had dreams about Atlantis. Like, and I have actual flashbacks of being an Atlantean. And there was this movie that I watched when I was like 13 years old called Deep Impact, which is kind of like the same as Armageddon, where there's like the meteor that hits the ocean, and then it creates this humongous tidal wave, this humongous tsunami that like covers them all. And there's that part of the movie where there's this like daughter, like there's this reporter, and she's standing with her dad, and there's this wave that's coming towards them. When I saw that part in that movie, it triggered me. Like that back then I was only 13, so I wasn't in a spiritual path or anything like that. But when I saw that wave coming towards them, even right now I'm starting to get like a little nervous. I had a panic attack, because it reminded something in my subconscious of how I died in Atlantis. And I remember I had a legit, I was 13 years old, I had a legit panic attack where I started to cry. I couldn't sleep that night, and I started having nightmares of a tsunami wave. And that's a recurring nightmare that I had for years. I recently stopped having it, and I think it's because I came into realization that I was an Atlantean, and that my fear was based on because I remembered dying in Atlantis. So some of you guys might share that same fear of tsunamis, or like of the ocean like just taking you, right? Others of you might just be really drawn to the ocean. You might be really drawn to water. You might have a lot of water in your chart, right? In your, like, you might be like a Cancer or a Pisces or a Scorpio, or have a lot of that influence in your natal chart. But again, the ocean and the water are very spiritual to you and very dear to you. Now, you brought in, because of you were a high priestess. Let me tell you something about Atlantis. Atlantis was a very, very, very evolved civilization, or like they were very the Atlanteans had a lot of high technology, but they used a lot of crystal technology. So they were very evolved energetically. They knew how to use They knew how to, use crystals as conduits for energy, right? For energy, crystals, gold, all of that were are really good conduits of energy. And energy is gold, right? Energy is really what makes the world go round. And they knew how to manipulate energy very well. They also knew how to make things happen by sound, right? By creating sound waves. They were very, very, very highly evolved as civilization, and it wasn't. And this is so crazy that I see authority figures come down here, because usually Atlanteans in this lifetime, you might have developed a dislike or distrust for politicians or politics, because in Atlantis, this is what led to the fall of Atlantis, right? Is authority figures like the leaders started becoming a little greedy, and they started becoming a little power hungry, and they started to misuse and abuse crystal power in order to attain more influence and more power. And this is what led to the demise of Atlantis, when it started becoming very political, and people with low vibrations started becoming the leaders. And this, let me tell you something also about Atlantis. This is a matriarchal society, meaning, right, you know how like right now we're now coming out of the patriarchal society where men are more dominant than women. Well, in Atlantis, women were more dominant than men, and this was a very spiritual society where a high priestess could have been, very well could have been the leader of a city, okay? Because in Atlantis, like spirituality was more important. Spirituality in our intuitive side was more revered than our logical and reasoning side, which is what is governed in the patriarch society, right? In a patriarch society, we are more, we operate more from our logical side and our reasoning. In the Atlantean times, we were operating more from our spiritual side and our intuitive side, which then, I'm gonna just say it, women. The reason that there was a patriarch society that was abusive towards women for some time is because women also abused their powers. When women were back in the Atlantean times, women were abusing their power because it was a matriarchal society where women were in power, and they also abused it, which created an energetic imbalance that needed to then be balanced after the Great Flood. When we started a new society, it became a patriarch society where they became kind of like the leaders, and then they started abusing their power, and now we're starting to balance those powers back out to where the divine feminine and the divine masculine come together. Yes, I love it. So what did you bring in with you in this lifetime? Wisdom and your high priestess qualities. You are highly, highly, highly intuitive, pile number 2. And you need to share this wisdom and this inner gnosis and your psychic abilities. Some of you guys might be tarot readers. Some of you guys might talk to spirits. Some of you guys might be very good astrologers. Some of you guys might do crystal works, or it might be like work with like holistic crystals. Some of you guys might be Reiki healers, where you're energy workers. It could go Atlanteans were good at all of those. What do you need to heal? You need to heal. Another thing about Atlantis is that people were like, it was very customary for people to be in communal living, where you lived like everybody. There was no job that was better than others, right? Everybody put in their job based on whatever skills they had best, right? So, and there was no job that was revered better than any other, so in this lifetime, you might, if you're like an energy healer, or if you're like an energy worker, if you're a spiritual leader, if you're being a high priestess, you might have a hard time charging people money for your services, or for, so because in the Atlantean times, your needs were provided by the community. You provided your service, the community it was already like an unspoken rule where your needs were already taken care of by society, because you provided your services. In this society, it's not like that. You have to heal, that you have to charge. You have to make money for your services, or for sharing your talents and your gifts in this lifetime, because in this lifetime it is a more individualistic and egotistic society, and you still have in your subconscious that memory of the utopia like society of Atlantis, where your needs were provided for because you provided your gifts. It's not like that here. Here it's a more individualistic society where you have to fight for yourself, fend for yourself. Okay, so you might have a hard time wanting to live on your own. Like you might live with, like, living with your family, like with your siblings, or you might like having roommates a lot, like living with roommates, like with your friends or whatever. Or you might like to have, like, you might want to have a big family, stuff like that. You don't like to be on your own. Okay, share your wisdom with the world. This is your destiny in this lifetime, to bring in that, to reawaken the masses, to remind them of the possibility of a utopia that was once Atlantis, because you remember this society and you want to recreate it, and you have a great distrust and a great distaste for anything that has to do with politics, anything that has to do with authority figures. You might be even a bit of a rebel, where you don't want to follow people, like you don't want to follow the rules of societal rules, because you don't trust them. Okay, it's something that you need to heal. And that's what I don't even need clarifications here. Maybe I'll take a couple. I mean, that's pretty much King of Cups reversed. Okay, you might have a lot of emotional imbalances, because I feel like you might okay, I get it. This is the King of Water. This is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. What was I saying in the beginning about you guys might having a lot of water influence in your charts? When the King of Cups in the reverse shows up in the reverse, it means that you have a lot of mental, a lot of emotional blocks. You might either be completely closed off emotionally, again, because you don't like this society where this society, you don't like the rules of society, because you remember a society that worked in harmony. And Atlanteans were very peaceful people. Like that in this society, if you even said out the word fuck, it was like, oh no, or saying a lie was a heavy, like something very bad, or betraying somebody was something unheard of. Okay, and in this lifetime, you've been hurt so many times with the King of Cups. You're a very emotional person, the pile number 2, and you've been hurt so many times, and you've been betrayed so many times, that it's led you to either be emotionally imbalanced, where you might have depression, or you might have like some bipolar disorder that you might need to heal. And it's on an energetic level. It's like it's not physical. It's something that you need to clear spiritually. Or you've closed your heart off to the point where you don't feel anymore. And it's something, this is what you need to heal. And you also need to heal your distrust for authority figures. Not all of them are bad. Most of them are. but rules are necessary. Rules are necessary, okay? And laws. But that's what I got for you. Pile number 2. This was beautiful. I hope it resonates. Hit that like button for me, please. And we're going to move on to pile number 3. With... which one was pile number 3? Oh, the angel. The little angel figurine. Hold on a second. Guys, I'm back. I had to use the potty. Sorry about that. Okay, so for those of you that picked pile number 3 with this beautiful little angel, she's so cute. Look at her. I love her. She looks kind of mischievous too. She looks like she just did something naughty. I feel like. Let's see what past life was most influential for you in this incarnation, What gifts or talents did you bring in? What karma do you need to repay or heal? All that jazz, right? So we got, oh, okay, monk or nun. Interesting. Alrighty, it's interesting. All right. We got, ooh, we got the arts. Nice. Okay. We got orphan. Oh, okay. I'm starting to see something here. Okay. We got leaving or travel. Okay. Got an extra one. Okay. And we got food and hunger. I'm gonna leave it. I guess I picked an extra card by accident, or there is no accident, so it must have. I'm gonna put it up here. Wow. Okay, give me a minute to take this in, you guys. Orphan, monk, leaving or travel, food and hunger. Okay. I actually resonate with this, you guys, myself. So, you were born, in this lifetime. I'm feeling like this was a lifetime based in like maybe the 1800s, in like the later 1800s. You never knew your parents. You never knew the story with your parents. You never knew who your parents were. Your parents, whoever your mom was, they couldn't take care of you. They were very poor, and they dropped you off at a convent. You grew up at a convent. You were an orphan that was left at a convent, and you grew up. You were taken care of by nuns and monks. And you grew up in the convent up until like you were maybe like 11 or 12. You were always like you didn't like living there, by the way. You didn't like living in the convent, but you did enjoy watching the performers when they played the organs and when they played the musical instruments, when they performed for church. You really enjoyed it, and you actually learned how to play musical instruments in the convent. That was something. You took a liking to the arts. But like I said, you didn't enjoy very much living in the convent. So like around 12 years old, you took off to live on your own. You took with you you learned how to play musical instruments, and you just kind of became like a wanderer or a traveler, and you basically performed in the streets for people to be able to eat. You barely made ends meet. You didn't really have a home. But you were kind of okay with that. You kind of just kind of became like a wanderer or a traveler, and you just relied on your skills, your artistic skills, because the music saved your life. Music was all you really cared about in this lifetime, pile number 3, and you just basically played for food. Sometimes you would play for people and stay at their homes one night. You never stayed put, and this might have brought upon influences in this lifetime. I'm gonna start with the orphan. You have in this lifetime, pile number 2, severe abandonment issues. Okay, severe, deeply rooted abandonment issues that have posed a lot of troubles in your relationships, because they might have created some type of codependency issue, right? Where you either have a lot of fear of somebody leaving you, so you always leave them first, or you get really clingy and you don't want anybody to leave. Like you'll stay in a relationship that you don't even want to be in for forever, just because of that codependency issue rooted from your abandonment issues. You've always this has also imposed a lot of self-esteem issues of worth. You've had to work a lot in your self-worth in this lifetime. Pile number 2, I'm pile number 3. I actually relate to this a lot. However, you did bring about you this angel-like, inspirational, natural ability with the arts. And it doesn't just have to be music, although in this lifetime it was music. You played like this. You were like almost inspired by, by Apollo, right? That you just knew, and you kind of picked it up naturally. Like this was a natural ability, because it's like you understood the world through music. Like you understand the language of music and art, and you were inspired. This is what saved your life. This is what brought life back to you, right? The arts. And you brought into this lifetime a natural, you're very creative, pile number 3. You're extremely creative. And it's like, what in some type of form of art. Like sometimes some of you might be really good at drawing, right? Others of you might be really good at writing poetry. Others of you might be really beautiful painters. Of course, a lot of you are very, very musically inclined. And the beauty of this is that whoever you are, pile number 3, you don't even need a lot of training, or you don't need it's like something that you kind of naturally already know how to do. Like you pick up a guitar and you kind of fuck with it a little, and then you kind of just figure it out. Or you sit in a piano and you start like messing around with the keys, and it's like you have that natural hearing for it. Others of you, like for example, I never went to art school. I'm a painter. Those of you that know me, like, I know that I like to paint, and I've never really been to, like, I never taken any classes or anything like that, but I just kind of like grabbed a paintbrush one day and started painting, and boom, it came out. Others of you, like, you just kind of like grab a pencil and a paper, and you start doodling, or you start sketching, and you just do these amazing sketches, and you're like, damn. And people are like, damn, how did you learn how to do that? And you're like, I don't know, I just started sketching, and this is what I came up with. So you're just very naturally, and it's very inspirational to others. And this is what you need to bring into this lifetime. This is what's going to make you mighty, and it's gonna make you flourish in this lifetime, is to believe in your creative talents, in your artistic talents. Share your artistic talents with the world. If you have some type of artistic or creative talent that you just kind of do as a hobby, put your work out there. Okay, expose it, share it, put it in social media, create a YouTube channel, whatever. Put it out to the public, because it's going to be really well received, and it's going to, this is what's going to, your life will start once you expose and share this musical art, or your, not just musical, this artistic side of you with the world, because the world needs to be inspired by you. Pile number 3, it's so beautiful. You need to heal your abandonment issues. You might have had a lot of growing up in this lifetime. You might have had problems with your parents. Like you might have been one of those children that always wanted, like, that constantly needed attention from their parents, and maybe didn't receive it because it's a block that you keep bringing in. Like you might, even though some of you might have grown up in foster care in this lifetime. For some of you, I'm feeling that, yes. Others of you just have really complicated relationships with your mothers and fathers, where, like I do, like I have abandonment issues with my father. My father passed away when I was a kid, so you just might have a lot of issues with your parents in this lifetime that need healing. Perhaps your moms didn't give you the attention you require, because maybe your moms needed to work too much and they weren't around enough. Maybe your dads and your moms got divorced and your dad wasn't around, and that's giving you a lot of instability growing up. And being an orphan child really, and when I say being an orphan child, doesn't mean that your parents weren't around in this lifetime. It just means that your parents didn't give you the attention that you needed growing up. Which is a very common theme in this society. It's giving you a lot of problems having a stable relationship as a grown-up, pile number 3, because either you subconsciously always think they're going to leave you, and then we remember, our thoughts create our reality. So whatever you think is going to happen, you might be manifesting that. So you might be you constantly manifest either people that leave you, or you leave them before you want to beat them to the punch, because you automatically assume that they're going to leave you. So be aware that this is this is your strongest block. Because you spent your life as a kind of as a traveler, a vagabond, you might also have a hard time sticking to a specific place. Pile number 3, you like to travel. This is something that you and I feel like you're like world travel is something that interests you a lot and that you're passionate about. But it also might give you problems, like, I mean, every like 10 years or like every 5 years or every there's like this pattern that you have that you after a certain amount of time you need to leave. You want to move houses, you want to, like, what is it, you want to move states, you want to buy a new home, you want to rent a new spot, you might want to be in a different relationship. Like you might have trouble sticking to one particular job, right? You might change jobs a lot. It's because of this influence, because you were a traveler in this lifetime and you enjoyed it. You like it this being, having this lifestyle of an orphan and traveler gave you a lot of strength. You have a strength in this lifetime. You have a strength that is mighty, because you are able to endure so much, right? And you're able to, what is it, overcome anything life throws at you, because you've been able to develop strong survival skills, right? That no matter what life throws at you, you can overcome it. But it also has created blocks, emotional blocks, to where you do not allow people in, because you automatically think they're gonna leave you, or you, because of the orphan, that because of the abandonment issues, or you've closed up your heart chakra, where you just don't trust. You don't trust and you don't let anyone in. So you might have even developed a self-sabotage mechanism, to where you automatically sabotage relationships with others because you don't want to let them in. And you're never going to find a relation if you don't let people in and you don't allow that intimacy to happen, right? If you don't let people see your heart, you're never going to, that relationship will never grow, or it will never sprout into something deeper than like something basic, right? And again, you might have trouble staying put. You might like to move around a lot. You like to travel, because you were a traveler in this lifetime. You enjoyed that lifestyle. All you needed was your guitar. Or your whatever instrument you played, and one little tiny suitcase, and you just traveled, which this creates in this lifetime a possibility of you're able to connect with people from all over the world, right? Like you're easily adaptable to different cultures and different areas and different lifestyles, because in this lifetime you were involved with so many different types of people and so many different areas. You lived in so many different places and became part of so many different cultures that you easily blend in. In this lifetime, you easily blend in and connect with the people of different cultures and different backgrounds, which I think is absolutely beautiful. Trains might have a big significance to you in this lifetime. You might be really drawn to trains, or you might always wanted to travel by train, or you like to travel a lot by train. Trains are a big significance to you. One last thing that needs healing. You might have a little bit of a distaste for nuns or monks or church, or or dogmatic religion, because you felt very oppressed by them in this lifetime. So be aware of that. There's something you might have you might have specific distrust for nuns and monks because you felt very oppressed by them. And that's why you left. I mean, even though, and that part of you needs to learn how to show gratitude for them saving you and giving you a home and shelter. And maybe they weren't the most loving and caring, but they did provide for you. Okay, so that's something that you need to heal through meditation. Last but not least, another thing you need to heal, because you were an orphan, because you were a vagabond traveler that lived off of performing in the streets. You a lot of times went hungry. A lot of times you starved, okay? And you went days without eating, and you know what it's like to not have food. And this is a phobia that you might have brought in from another lifetime, where you might tend to overeat a little. You might eat like what is it? Whenever you feel some type of void, or whenever you get hurt, or whenever you're anxious, you might try to fill that void with food in this lifetime. And it might lead to compulsively eating, right? To having an eating disorder, eating, either you overeat or you don't eat enough, because you punish whenever you're stressed out, you might punish yourself by not eating. And it all stems from starving, from feelings of starvation in this lifetime, in this incarnation. Okay, so again, you must heal your relationship with food. You might always have this sensation of lack because of the orphan card. You might have like this sensation of lack, and you might overcompensate by overeating in this lifetime and overindulging, because to fulfill that void that you need to heal. That this is a very strong block that you have, pile number 3, that really needs a lot. You need to really go within and really dig. Some of you guys might benefit from doing a past life regression or a Reiki healing too, because this is a deeply rooted a block in your sacral chakra, which is the second chakra. This is your inner child. This is the chakra that allows you to manifest in life, and you might have trouble manifesting abundance because you haven't been able to heal this this abandonment issue. Okay, and it's so connected to the food and hunger. So you like I said, either some of you guys might punish yourself by not like having some type of eating disorder where you could be even like borderline anorexic, or you might have like in the past have had problems with bulimia. Some of you guys might just overeat. There's something with food, and no judgment here. Like I said, I kind of resonate. I mean, not entirely, but I resonate a little bit with this pile, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. So you have to heal your relationship with food. Set an intention, right? Light up a candle and tell the candle, I am no longer an orphan. I am loved. I am abundant. The universe provides everything I need. I am not hungry, or I do not need to eat, because I have food available to me whenever I need. Okay, something like that. Look up there's a lot of healing techniques on YouTube that could help with this block. But you guys are highly creative, beautiful people, so beautiful. You guys have such beautiful artistic talents, and you might not even believe in yourselves because of the self-worth issue with the orphan. You guys have such creative talents and are so beautiful, artistic. Share that with the world. That's your gift and that's your destiny. Okay, that's what I got for you, pile number 3. Hit the like button for me, please. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. I really felt pile number 3, like, and I connected to it. All right, pile number 4. Those of you that picked the bicycle, this little like what is it, hang wire bicycle. Let's see what influences from that lifetime we got. Spirituality and religion. Okay. Ooh, we got knighthood. Nice. Beautiful. Okay. We got vows. Okay. And we have Celtic. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so for pile number 4, you might have a deep connection to like anything that has you might live in like Scotland or Wales or England, because you have a strong connection to Celtic, anything Celtic. If not, then you might feel like a sense of deja vu or connection anytime that you might see like a movie that is based in England or like in Scotland or Ireland. You might feel very connected, or you might feel like a sense of familiarity with that area of the world, because you have your most influential life was a life that you lived as a knight. You were possibly one of the Knights Templars in a past life. And let me tell you something, once a knight, always a knight, right? I mean, that's a vow, a very strong vow that you take as a knight. And once you're a knight, you are always a knight. So you might have a very you You might be very and very spiritual, right? Like the Knights Templars were very spiritual people, very and very religious. They this was their life, okay? You might have a lot of, you might be very drawn to like knight figurines, or like you might like movies that are about like maybe like you're very into like Lancelot and Guinevere and like the Knights of the Round Table, where like that you might like be very much into like King Arthur and like that legend of King Arthur, or like Avalon. You might like be very much into like because of the Celtic influence, you might like be very much into like druids and elves and fairies, like all that. You might be like into like Dungeons and Dragons, like I am. Like I used to play Dungeons and Dragons, or maybe like video games that are like that are very epic, like, you know, that have to do with that you know, like that Stonehenge might be something that's that fascinates you, right? And you might like to play video games that are about dragons and magic and elves and fairies and stuff like that. These vows that you took as a knight, however, have posed very hard blocks in your relationships today, because you probably took a vow of celibacy, because knights were celibate, or so they say. I don't know. Supposedly. But they did at least take the vow of being celibate. But yes, you probably took this vow of celibacy, which in turn has put like where you would never take a husband or would never take a wife, and you would and you brought this vow into this lifetime today, pile number 4, and which creates some, again, self-sabotaging patterns, where, like, you know, you sabotage your romantic relationships because you took a vow of never taking a husband. Or you might be a commitment phobe in this lifetime, and you don't really understand why, because a part of you really loves people and really wants to connect, but there is something inside you that doesn't allow you, right, to commit to someone, and it's because of a vow of never taking a husband or wife when you became a knight. Either that, or you pick people who are emotionally unavailable to you on purpose. I mean, on purpose, subconsciously, not on purpose consciously. You subconsciously and on purpose are drawn to people who are emotionally unavailable to you because you don't want them to be, because of this vow that you took. So you have to do some rituals where you can break free of the energetic cord of the vow that you took on this lifetime. Say where you to cut that energetic cord and say and set the intent that this vow doesn't serve you anymore in this lifetime. Okay, because of your influence as a knight, you might be that type of person that is very you can't stand to see injustice done to people. You might be the type of person that always roots for the underdog and always defends the underdog. You might have had problems holding down a job, like if you tried working at like corporations, or like where there's like these big CEOs and you feel like they're like maybe taking advantage of people. Like you might have a problem like holding jobs like that, because you, once a knight always a knight, you cannot work for or be part of an organization that you do not believe in. You have a need to believe in the cause of whatever it is that you're involved in and have passion for it in order to truly put in your effort into it. Another thing is that you have trouble trusting people, but once you do trust people, you are the most loyal of friends, the most loyal of partners. Like you are very, very loyal. To you, breaking your promise or lying or saying, you're a very honest person, and when you make a promise, you fucking keep it. You do not believe in breaking your promises, and people that break your promise, that break their word or break their promise to you, they're like that to you. Like you will never, like it, this is that's something that's highly important to you, is loyalty, and people that are true to their word. Like your word is like gold to you, because of your influence of us being a knight. Again, like you might like to visit Renaissance fairs, right? Like you like Renaissance fairs, and you might even dress up as a knight. You might have knight figurines. You might, like I said, a lot of you guys might like to play Dungeons and Dragons, or you like movies and shows that depict knights and dragons and stuff like that. You were also very being part of the Knights Templars in this lifetime. I'm thinking England. I don't know why, but I feel like either England or Scotland. But there's a particular chapel in I think it's in Ireland. I don't know why, but either Ireland, Scotland, or maybe England. But there's a particular chapel that you died in. Okay, or no, that you were buried in. There's a particular chapel that has a little grave, or a little little graveyard in the back, and it's very old, and I can see it. It's so beautiful that you should visit. If you ever go to England or to Scotland or Ireland, whichever one it is that you feel the most drawn to, that's the right one. Use your intuition. Your intuition knows. It wants you. It's guiding you there. I could see this chapel. It's so beautiful. It's a very old little chapel, and it's out in the open, and there's this little backyard, this little graveyard in the back, and it has like a bunch of little tombstones, and that's where you were buried, you and your knight and your fellow knights, your fellow brothers, and I'm feeling guided to tell you that this chapel and this graveyard is some place that you need to visit in this lifetime. And I don't know why I'm feeling Ireland. It's either Ireland or Scotland, but it could be England too. Again, use your intuition. If you ever go visit it, just let your intuition guide you to this chapel. You're gonna somehow find a chapel, and you're gonna feel drawn to it. It's almost like a magnet pulling you to it. And there's gonna be this little grave in the back that you're gonna visit, and you're gonna go straight to your tombstone, and you're gonna know, and it's gonna be that's where you are buried. Oh my God, it's like I'm getting really emotional. You're gonna be able to connect with with that lifetime that you had as a knight. You're gonna, like, the Akashic records are gonna come into you, and I'm feeling strongly that if you guys haven't visited either England, Scotland, or Ireland or Wales, go, like, save some money and go visit it, and go connect with this part of you. A lot of you guys might feel a lot of like connections to druids, or maybe like that Celtic magic, where like you can sense or feel elementals, right? Like the elemental spirits. You might see like a forest spirits that others cannot perceive. You can, and don't doubt it. Whenever you perceive them, don't doubt it. They're there with you. Okay, and try to heal the vows of celibacy, because this is posing a lot of problems in your relationships in this lifetime, pile number 4. But if you can save some money up and go visit one of these places, you will find a little chapel with a little grave. This is a particular message for someone out there. Might be just one person, maybe 2, that you're gonna be guided to this graveyard, and you're gonna find your tombstone, and it's gonna be, I can see it, I have the vision, it's beautiful, and I can see you crying. You're gonna be with, like, I can see you crying, like, because you, like, it's gonna feel like home. You're gonna remember this lifetime, and it's really beautiful. I'm really feeling this emotional, like, but you are a spiritual leader. You are a spiritual leader. You are the protector. You might be feeling guided in this lifetime to protect others, and to have a job where you protect, right? You might, like, maybe a doctor or a caregiver or a teacher, possibly a spiritual teacher, or a guidance counselor, stuff like that, because of your influence as a knight. So beautiful. I love it so much. And go check out the next Renaissance fair. You're gonna feel right at home there. I'm actually gonna go next week. There's one here in Florida, and what is it? I think it's in TY Park. Then we're gonna go next week. So come on with us. Come out with me. You're invited. That's what I got for you, pile number 4. Hit that like button for me, please. I hope this resonated. This was really nice. I really like this one too. I like them all. I like them all. All right, let's go move on to pile number 5 with the with this ginormous vintage skeleton key. Pile number 5, if you pick the key. Let's see which lifetime was the most influential for you. Ooh, I love it already. Greco-Roman. Yes. I am obsessed with Greek mythology. Okay, so we got Greco-Roman. We got blessings and lessons. Okie dokie. We got, ooh, scribe or writer. I'm loving it. We got health. No, and I got another extra one for this one too. Man, I can't count. I got an extra one for this one too. We got wars and battles. Okay. Give me a minute to take this in, you guys, please. Wars and battles. Lessons and blessings. Okay. Health. Scribe or writer. Okay, I see this. All right, okay. So your most influential lifetime in this incarnation was one that you spent as a Roman Greek. In your earlier lifetime, you were a soldier. You were either a soldier or you were a warrior. Okay, you were a soldier. You were a soldier, and war was your life. You were very physically fit. You were very strong, and you were very admired by many, right? For your strength, for your physical strength, for your battle tactics, for winning wars. Straight up, you helped the Roman Empire become mighty through battles and wars. You were very revered, and you moved up in ranks very rapidly. You were very good at winning battles, okay? And war was your life. However, in your later years, you did this for a long time. I mean, for like maybe 10 years or for like 8 years. I'm thinking 8 years. You did this for like 8 years, and eventually you got wounded in one of the battles, right? And this was a big hit for you, where you lost your leg. See how this guy kind of like fell here, and his knee is broken. You took a hit to the knee, and you became handicapped with the health card here. You became handicapped, and you couldn't walk anymore. And you retired from being from the life as a soldier, life at war, and went back to Greece and kind of like stayed home. You stayed home. You couldn't move. You had to actually use crutches, or you actually had to use crutches, and were very disabled. This led to you having a lot of depression, though, because your life, you were so identified with yourself as being like this hero, right? This war hero, that once you became handicapped, you might in this lifetime have problems with your knees, or like maybe with your hips. Like you might have some type of some type of problems either with your heels, with your knees, where like or simply just have some type of health issue in this lifetime that inhibits you. Some of you guys might also suffer from depression, and you might feel like or either so you might, some of you guys might suffer from depression or mood swings. Others of you, because of the it could be at the polar opposite of the opposite pole of that energetic string, where physical physical health has become like an obsession to you. So you might be like a gym freak, where you you really take care of your body. You might be even like a bodybuilder. For some of you, you might be like very, very much into being healthy, and like because you have this fear, right, of being disabled again. Others of you have had problems with your health. Might have problems like, you know, like maybe you weren't that good at PE and stuff like that, or you simply like have problems with, like, again, I don't know why I feel like it might be something with a knee, like or you might have like suffered a leg injury in this lifetime again, because it's something you haven't healed yet. However, this is where the beauty of this comes. Because you were forced, right? There was no accident that you got injured in your life as a soldier, okay? This was meant to happen to you. Why? Because this was a karmic lesson. There was a blessing. This was a blessing in disguise, because you had a different destiny in this lifetime as a Greek. This injury had to happen, pile number 5, because it needed to force you into staying home and become a writer. I love it so much. You had the talent of scribe or writing. You became so depressed when you were stuck at home with your injury, right? As disabled, you were disabled, and you were very angry. You developed a lot of anger issues and a lot of temper problems with your temper, and straight up depression, that you didn't know how to deal with it. You didn't know what to do with yourself, and you discovered pen and paper, and you started to write down your thoughts. You started writing down stories about war, and you became a writer. You became because you had so much time to stay at home and think, and you would just think. You would sit outside in your living in the porch of your house, and you live right by the ocean. You would just sit there and think. You became very philosophical, and you started wondering what the purpose of life is. Why things happen the way they happen. What lessons are you learning? What is time, right? Anytime I see a clock, a round clock in a card, it speaks to me of cycles and karmic lessons. This situation, you being a warrior and getting injured, was a karmic lesson that would lead you to become a philosopher and writer. And you became a very famous writer, a writer of philosophy in Greco-Roman, a very influential writer. And this is a talent that you have brought in with you in this lifetime, pile number 5. Start writing. Some of you might be really good at writing songs. Some of you guys might be good at writing down thoughts. Some of you guys might be poets. Some of you guys might be really good bloggers, and you might not even know that you are. This is a talent that you have, that if you're not putting it to use, it is being wasted. I think that you might be an air sign, I'm feeling, but not necessarily. You might have air in your chart. And air signs are very, very much about the mind. They're very good communicators, and they're very mental. You might, whoever you are, pile number 5, you're very, very, very intelligent, and you're very, very, very philosophical, and you have a lot of really interesting theories about the cosmos, and about life, and about time, and about what is that we're doing here. What is our purpose? Write it all down. Write it all down and share it with the world, because that is your talent. However, you do have a lot of blocks because of your life, because of the time you spent as a as a soldier. You might be a person that is very conflicted. Okay, you might either have problems with confrontations to where you completely avoid them because you have a phobia of war, because you got injured in war, or you might have anger problems. Again, that stem from being a soldier in this lifetime, where you often find yourself fighting with people, and sometimes you don't even understand why. You're like, damn, why do this conflict keep like following me around in this lifetime? Or people just fight with you, or you end up, even if you don't want to fight with people, there's always some type of conflict around in your life. So where you find yourself having to defend yourself from people that constantly come at you and attack you, because of the subconscious block that you need to heal. Either that, or you are a conflict, a confrontation phobe, where you avoid fighting and you avoid conflict at all cost, which is also bad. Let me tell you something, there's balance. You have to be able to confront in a situation or some type of conflict between you and another person, because otherwise you won't be able to reach a level of intimacy. A bond with someone sometimes strengthens from addressing conflict with the other person. You have to be able to talk things out and address that conflict in order for that bond to grow and strengthen, right? Like when you survive a battle with someone in war, that's the biggest, this is why soldiers create such a strong bond with each other, because it's like they survived war together. It's the same thing in this lifetime. When you get into a fight with like, let's say, a lover or your spouse, and you guys are able, and it's a very strong conflict, when you guys are able to talk it out and actually come to a middle ground and confront a problem head on and overcome it, it's like you become like this invincible couple, right? Like it's like nothing can penetrate you guys, and nothing can like it really strengthens that bond that you guys have. So this is something that you need to heal. You also need to heal your health issues. You might be a person that might be a bit of a hypochondriac, because of this phobia or this trauma that you still have with you. Again, there's many techniques on YouTube that you can do to release energetic karmic ties. You can do Reiki healing sessions. You can do past life regressions, or just simply having the awareness that these are your blocks, and to consciously put the intentions to heal them. It does the world of a difference. Trust me, I know. But these are all life lessons, and start writing down. You don't even have to have a specific thing that you're writing down. Start writing your thoughts. Start with just your thoughts, simple thoughts, and you're gonna start seeing how words flow out of you like water, right? Like air, because it's a talent that you have, that you brought in, and it's a very good one. And people, you might even discover that you can write novels. You might discover that you can write poetry really beautifully. Or if you already know that you can write, this is coming up for you today to tell you to put it out there, to find a way to publish your work, because it's really good. It's your gift. Okay? I love it so much. And that's what I got for you. Pile number 5. Hit that like button for me, please. Thank you so much. I think this is absolutely beautiful, and it's a karmic lesson this is all a very, very big lesson that you are learning and culminating in this lifetime. When I see lessons and blessings, it means that in this lifetime you're finally closing out these karmic issues. So that's really good news for you, pile number 5. Hit that like button for me, please. Thank you so much. And then last but not least, we got, if those of you that chose the thread, the royal blue thread with the needle. Let's see. What was your life, your past life, which past life was the most influential for you? What gifts did you bring in? And what is your karmic lesson or your karmic debt? We got ships. Okay. We got baby. Okay. We got spouse. Oh shit. Okay, I'm seeing here already. I'm already seeing something here. Okay, we got Asia. Nice. Oh damn it. And this one also has another I don't know, sorry. And we got karmic relationship. Okay. Okay, let me see. Then give me a second you hear, you guys. karmic relationship, spouse. Oh, wow. Okay. So, pile number 6. You guys were in the business of trade. Okay. You traveled a lot by ship because you used to be in the import and export business, which possibly is a gift that you might have brought into this lifetime, where you are very good at negotiating. Whether you're aware of it or not, you are very good at convincing people to do what you need them to do, or you can sell a fucking turd to a pope, right? As a hat. If you really wanted to. You're very good at business. You're very business oriented, and you got a lot of labia. Is that how you say it in English? In Spanish it's called labia. You're a labiist, I think. I don't know if that's how it's called in English, but and you had a particular business in China, where you were in the silk business. You used to go to China. You used to go from like I think you were either from the you were from like the UK, and you used to travel a lot to China, or maybe to the States, from the States to China, to pick up the worms that made silk, because you became very profitable. You became very you had a really profitable business because of the silk, okay? Because you used to travel to China to pick up the little worms that made silk, which only came from China. You were a man. This is the one. This one in the past, and the pile number 5 were the two that I am pretty sure you were a man in this lifetime. Which, let me tell you guys, we have all been female and male in many lifetimes. Judgment in reverse, okay? So we've all been both genders, okay? But in this particular one, you were a male, and you were married. I feel like maybe you lived in the United States, and you used to travel to either in the United States or the UK, and you used to travel to China a lot. Because that was part of your business. You were in the trades. A lot of you guys like to travel a lot in this lifetime, or for business. Like you are involved in a business where it includes you traveling a lot, or you simply enjoy traveling a lot. In this lifetime, you might like to boats might have a significance to you. You might like to go on boat rides. You might own a boat, or you might enjoy, traveling in boats, going on cruises, or like taking boat rides, maybe like going canoeing, like anything that has to do with boats, you might really enjoy. But okay, back to the story is that you had your wife, and your wife had a little baby that you had at home, right? And you always came back and provided for them. You gave your wife like nice silk, she had the best garments for, especially your baby too. Look, the baby was wearing these beautiful white silks that, thanks to dad, right? Thanks to daddy's business. But what happened? In one of your travels, in one of your, here it is, see? Oh my gosh. And then the high priestess. Okay, so in one of your travels, in one of your visits to China, you met a beautiful Chinese maiden that also worked in the silk industry, right? In the silk trade, in the trade of silk, and you fell in love with her. She was very beautiful and very nurturing, very wise, and she was a high priestess, okay? And you kind of became obsessed with her, pile number 6, to the point where you wanted to marry her, even though you were already married. And the high priestess card came out in the reverse. You did not, and this Chinese woman, Asian woman, also fell in love with you, pile number 6, and you guys, she married you. She married you. The Queen of Pentacles is a wife. She's wifey, okay? She married you, but you kept hidden from her that you already had a family and a wife and a baby waiting for you back home. And this Asian woman never found out. So you basically left your family, your spouse. You left your spouse back home, right? Abandoned them. And abandoned your child because you were so afraid of this Asian. This Asian woman, by the way, is your real soulmate. You actually met. She was your real soulmate. It's not that you did this because you were a bad person, pile number 6. So don't judge yourself for it. You did this because this person, the High Priestess signifies a very spiritual connection, a soulmate. Okay. And you just had to marry her. You couldn't resist. You couldn't stop yourself. But the problem is that you had a karmic tie already because you were already married and you had a child in this other marriage that you abandoned. Look, this 7 of Swords, this is Aquarius energy, but it doesn't, I mean, it could be, this is Pisces. You could be this could be involving a Pisces, could be in this lifetime, I mean. Could be involving a Capricorn, an Aquarius, or a Sagittarius with the Judgment in the reverse. Okay, you did a poor judgment call because, but you couldn't resist this relationship because, again, with the High Priestess and the Judgment card, whether they came out in the reverse, it doesn't matter. It still means the same thing. It just means that the situation was fucked up. But this was a highly spiritual connection with this Asian woman that was your soulmate. Your soulmate, your twin flame, the person, your divine counterpart, with the Judgment card and the Judgment card and the High Priestess card. So you were so afraid of your Asian soulmate finding out, of your second wife finding out about your other spouse back home and your child and your baby, that you completely abandon these two, right? This 7 of Swords speaks of picking your swords up and sneaking away, and you abandoned your family back home. You never sent them a letter. You never sent them a letter. You never communicated back with your family back home. You completely and utterly abandoned them. And this weighed heavily in your heart, but you simply could not resist your wife and your destiny, and you married her, and you lived happily. You lived happily with this in continued work. This was your business partner. You became very abundant with the Queen of Pentacles. You became very abundant, and you stayed in Asia. You guys were in the silk again. You were in the silk business. And a very profitable and very spiritual union, okay, and a very happy married life. However, abandoning your other spouse, right, back home, and your child created this karmic relationship in this lifetime, this karmic debt that you had to pay for in this lifetime, which means that in this lifetime, look at this mess. I'm really into this story, guys. In this lifetime, you might have already met your soulmate, pile number 6, and this because of this karmic debt that you had towards the wife and child that you abandoned in your past lifetime, your soulmate in this lifetime might have abandoned you and left you hanging. Either that, or you have already met your soulmate, but you are already involved with someone else, or they are already involved with someone else, a karmic partner that they have a kid with, or a karmic partner that you have a kid with, pile number 6, and is preventing you from being with your real soulmate, right? With this High Priestess, whether it's a man or a woman, and this karmic mate that in this lifetime will abandon you and your child, or you will end up being left without any child support, without any help, without any by this karmic mate either. So it's possible that in this lifetime you're a woman because you were a man in this one. And it's very possible that you were involved with someone, maybe a deadbeat husband that just abandoned you, or for some of you it was just that person you had a baby with and they just completely left you, or they weren't taking care of you, where you were left with all the burdens and all the responsibilities of taking care of your child because there was a karmic debt that you needed to pay. But forgiving this karmic partner, this might have even been somebody that stole from you. This might have been somebody, like it could have been an air sign in this lifetime. It could be somebody an air sign. It could even be somebody that's Asian, but it's not necessarily somebody that could have stolen from you, or that simply abandoned you, okay, in this lifetime, and left you responsible, taking care, nurturing a baby, and having to provide for your child on your own. A pile number 6. If this doesn't resonate, pick a different pile, but I know some of you will resonate with this. And this is a karmic debt that you had to pay because of because you abandoned this person in the previous lifetime, and you had to balance out that energetic cord. But once you forgive and close out this karmic cycle with this person, guess what? That's when your real soulmate, where is it? Where's the card? Your real soulmate is going to pop up. If you have already met them, you guys will come together. Once this cycle with this karmic mate closes out, you will come together with your soulmate and marry them. Marry them. Marry the soulmate of yours. This person that is very spiritually connected to you. But you have to close out your karmic debt first with your karmic partner. Oh my God, I love this one so much. And by doing so, because you had judgment in the reverse. Remember I told you judgment in the reverse. This means that this means karma. And you have the karmic relationship. I can't make this shit up. This means karma. And you saw me shuffle the cards. This one came out. I shuffled on camera. This means karma. And by you closing this cycle, by paying this karmic debt, you will flip this energy around and have the karmic, and have the judgment card in the upright. You will have the high priestess in the upright. You will have you have paid this karmic debt, right? Somebody that possibly abused you, like in this lifetime, this karmic partner that you've been with, that has abandoned you with this baby, has caused you a lot of pain, or is causing you a lot of pain right now as we're speaking. If it hasn't happened to you yet, it will. If it's already happening to you, hang in there. You're closing out the cycle, and your soulmate is coming. Your real soulmate, your twin flame. Yes, this person is coming. Okay, as soon as you're closing out this karmic relation, this karmic debt. It could be somebody that's from a different background. It doesn't have to be Asian. It could be just somebody that is from a different culture than you. And you will know. When you meet them, you will know. It's not going to matter to you where they're from, because they will just feel like family to you. Okay? And that's what I got for you, pile number 6. It's so beautiful. Hit that like button for me, please. And I hope you guys truly enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed it. If you guys want to book a private reading with me, my email is down below. Like, share, subscribe, and I think you're all wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all next time. Mwah! Love you, soul.